Hello everyone and welcome. We're live developer Q&A covering February's month ahead. If you haven't seen the video that went live on Friday covering what to expect in February, then we're going to use the dev Q&A to kind of dive in a little bit more with some of the stuff coming up. So joining me from my left, first of all, Mod Camel, Mod Orion and Mod Kelpie. We will be having Mod Tim will join us midway through the stream as well, so keep an eye out for him when he joins us. So without further ado, game update was focused, of course, this week on Farmhands, player on Farmhands, courtesy of the Ninjas, picking that up from Game Jam projects. So awesome to see that go into game. People saving their bank spaces with their barns, so it's obviously great to see from there. What?
Trappers throwing rabbits at people, just non-stop.
Initially, yeah.
Take this, I don't want it.
As a note, obviously, I assume people are going to be asking about Twitch Prime and stuff. We're going to keep quiet in a sense until we are absolutely sure everything is live. Once I get the heads up that everything's live for Twitch Prime, then I promise you I will shout about it, and then you can all go and claim the loot that is to come of it, which is very exciting. So without further ado, obviously we kicked off the month ahead video with Elite Dungeon 3, of course, naturally, releasing this month. Let us go straight into it. So do you want to give us an overview of Elite Dungeon 3 before we jump into questions? Or
Yeah, sure, why not?
All yours.
If you don't know about Elite Dungeon 3, then, okay, here's, I guess, a quick primer. In Amanishi, you kind of rescued Seryu, the Azure Dragon. In Dragonkin Labs, you put the Blackstone Dragon out of her misery. Yeah. And essentially, you're learning more and more about Kranon, the ambassador, who he is, what he's done, why he is a weird abomination thing that he is. And yeah, it's the same kind of format. You've got 3 awesome bosses. You've got a load of mini bosses, 16 instead of 13 this time. The mini bosses this time are a little bit more interesting.
More vocal?
But only a little bit. They're still kind of like combat dummies with loot, or pinata.
They have, so obviously they know, like, we've previewed the voices, they have voices with them, correct?
Yeah, we showed, what, 2 of the mini bosses and 2 of the bosses or
2
something?
bosses and 2 mini bosses, yeah. You're in there as well, of course.
Yeah, do you want to reveal the names of the other bosses to everyone?
So we've got boss 1, which is the Crassian Leviathan.
Crassian Leviathan, okay.
Yeah.
We've then got Taraket the Necromancer as boss number 2.
Yeah.
And then the final boss is Kranon the Ambassador.
What a surprise.
Shock.
Yeah, and we will show you the in-game areas and whatnot probably on the 19th of February.
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah.
So on 19th February, we have a special stream dedicated to the audio and the art of Elite Dungeon 3. Don't laugh at the way I pronounced that, Timbo. I assume that's what he's laughing at. But yeah, it's it's very exciting. We obviously did one of these last time in the Violet's Blue stream, and I thought that was very, very awesome, the way we kind of premised it with showing the areas off. The areas themselves look absolutely beautiful, so very excited to see how that goes down. So let's jump into it. So have the bosses in Elite Dungeon 3 been scaled based on solo, duo and trio, similar to how Seryu was?
Yes.
Just straight up yes?
Yep.
I like an answer. We can just say, yeah, go on.
No, we can definitely elaborate. So what, in Seryu, we changed the crystal HP, right?
Well, I mean, initially we didn't. This is the thing as well. With like when we first launched, we actually didn't have that at all. So that was the feedback thing that came from it. So
I think
awesome.
it changed the fight to make it slightly easier. Well, it wasn't difficulty, was it? It was more like
the longevity,
consumption of time, longevity. Yes. Yeah. So it was a quality of life thing more than a boss nerf per se, because the difficulty was how we kind of wanted it.
Yeah, I did a few play tests with the bosses for Elite Dungeon 3, and it was clear that solo was difficult.
Yeah.
And if you're with a group, it was easy.
Too easy, yeah.
And we wanted it to still be a challenge, not be difficult, but still be challenging for people that want to go in a group and not just have like a push over time, just run through, have it easy.
There's like some mechanics where you have to deal with a particular thing and it will spawn 1 per player. So originally...
So like Veracliffs.
Yeah, like the spires, right?
Yeah.
Spires in that fight?
Yeah, the spires.
Which obviously that means the fight scales to certain people. Originally I had like 1 of these things spawning, so with 3 people in the dungeon, only 1 of you had to deal with it, whereas now it's like everyone has to do their own thing, otherwise you wipe and yeah.
The scuffy mic might have been because Timbo's mic fell off his top. Just as
Yeah,
FYI.
Jesus, give me a break.
Yeah, a little. And Timbo's just doing a little bit of scratching in that sense. It's fine. Can you elaborate on what changes are being made to Elite Dungeon 1 and 2, aside from removing the requirement to do Elite Dungeon 2 and 3?
A few, yeah. For the most part, there's a bunch of changes that we want to do. We have a list of things, but we haven't actually got around to them because we've been working on ED3.
So we've added boss timers
Nice.
Yes.
to
So for
the
each
other
boss
Elite
himself.
Dungeons.
Nice.
Yeah, not for the dungeon as a whole, which we did want to do, and we still kind of might do, but again, that's when we get tapped back.
Okay,
by
right,
the thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Right,
we're
yeah,
not
yeah.
adding that
I'm
to
glad
this
you had to
project.
I
Yeah.
just had to get you to preface this, the
Get
meaning
me out
of
of here.
like getting could do
Yeah.
it, could mean could do it for this release, or
Yeah, I mean, I can be frank and say like there's a lot of things design-wise that we wanted to do, and the project would probably turn into a six months project instead of a 3-month project and stuff like that. But we don't need to do those things. The dungeon is like really nice as it is, and we are reworking TAP as a company at some point. So
I'm excited for timers because there will come the inevitable data stream in the next few months where we'll go over boss timers again. So having that a lot, because obviously we have a way of tracking the kills, but now we have a way of tracking timers. I can't wait for that. Are the timers
per boss.
group and solo, or
Yes, so they store your longest solo kill or hard mode kill, as it were, because that's how our system works. And if you're in a group, they
cool?
do, yeah.
So obviously you're kind of limiting yourself somewhat in duo, but who knows, you might have some incredible duo DPS if the health is lower, of course, based on fights. So it could go both ways.
Yeah.
Are there going to be any other notable awards aside from the Tier 92 two-handed bow from Elite Dungeon 3?
Yes.
Are we able to go into them, or do you want to keep it quiet?
No, we can talk about them.
Let's do it. I love reward discussions. It makes me excited.
I mean,
Let's
they
do
don't
it.
necessarily. There are some reagents that we don't necessarily want to reveal because
Sure.
of economic reasons. But yeah, we've got the Tier 92 Blackstone arrows, they're called, which require tips that drop from the dungeon.
So the only way of creating them will be from the dungeon.
Yep.
Do they work with the portable Fletcher and bonuses and stuff like that?
Can't
Believe so.
confirm. They should do.
Believe they-
Okay.
Basically, they run through the same code and run through the same checks. So
Cool.
the answer to that currently is yes. The arrows themselves do have an interesting effect, and we are in the middle of balancing it, but it essentially weakens your foe in some way. Don't really want to say too much more. The effect is pretty much final, but it's just on the off chance because we got another playtest this week, the final one.
When? Sorry, just my own,
not-
just so I know.
It's not booked in yet.
Okay, right, because I want to make sure.
We need to sign off like 3 more little jobs before we can confirm it. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it. But they're mostly just a balancing playtest, so we're getting everybody's times and how that feels, so we can make minor adjustments to the drop tables. Isn't that right, Timbo? Mm-hmm. And yeah, so we're not going to fully reveal exactly what those arrows do, but the tips drop in moderation throughout the dungeon. You should be able to come away with a decent amount, like more specifically, hopefully, slightly more supply than there is demand, but we'll see, and we'll obviously look at that, monitor it in the weeks after the update, just as we always do. So
3 new sigils?
3 new sigils.
What we got?
Yeah, okay, we'll reveal the sigils.
I mean, I wasn't saying that to make you reveal. I was just
So,
curious. You can always say no.
Well, you know
this.
what I'm like. I now have to. I've got into the habit of thinking about what I actually say, which
How
is,
dare you?
is amazing.
How dare you?
Urian?
Yeah.
That's
what the
not.
hell?
This isn't the Mother Ryan I know.
Hashtag New Year. New Me. Basically, we've got an undead slaying sigil, a dragon slaying sigil, and a demon slaying sigil, and these provide a flat damage buff, quite a nice, tasty.
Stack with the perk?
meaty- yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Stack with
so-
Salve Amulet.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Okay.
Yeah, Salvami and Undead Slaying Sigil is going to be pretty mental. And the cool thing is they're cheap to activate. That was one of the key things we wanted to do. There's an upfront cost. You have to kind of shell out. And definitely not going to tell you what goes into crafting them. So you'll find that out on release day. But yeah, Undead plus Salve and Dragonbane plus Dragon Slayer Sigil.
We're going to be seeing some very quick QBD kills, I believe.
Yes,
Even
the record
more so.
will be broken.
I think it's 37 seconds right now, if I remember correctly. So that will probably get beaten.
So before balancing went out, just for testing purposes, we had it as like a 10 times
the
damage, just so I could see the effect.
Just to make sure it works.
Like what, one hit QBD, next phase.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
Oh man, I saw someone in the, just plucking off the chat, going off topic a little bit. Someone mentioned about mobile bug in relation to invisible NPCs. That is being looked at by the team to get that sorted for people on mobile. So yes, I can confirm we know the issue and we're trying to get that sorted. So
yeah, me and Kelpie just reading the chat. It's great.
I find I need to get you guys in some way here. Pets, gotta go into pets.
Yeah, reel them off.
So we have more than one pet list. Elite Dungeon 1 we only had one, and Elite Dungeon 2 we only had one. And we got 3.
So
Four?
I mean, technically, we're obviously adding in the Blackstone Dragon
Right,
pet.
oh, I see, okay.
So it's 3 plus 1.
there's going to be a pet from an achievement similar to Elite Dungeons 2.
Oh, of course, we had the Magna Golem. Yes,
There's going to be the Ambassador boss pet, and then there's another rare tradable pet that drops throughout the dungeon.
A rare tradable. So is that a drop from a kill on an NPC or
Lucky Charm.
Lucky
a
Charm.
lucky charm?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very rare. So if you get the shadowy egg, then you might want to price check that one before you shove it on the GE.
So if we're talking IFB, Ambassador's the only one?
Yes,
Yeah.
Ambassador and
Cool.
anyone who's
Just
already
that
got
one
Blackstone
as
Dragon.
Are we, a question in regards to Elite Dungeon 3, do we see, I mean, I don't know if we can confirm this, Ragefire Glands being dropped at all during this?
They complete the set, don't they?
So is
they're
that...
On, they're on the drop table.
Okay.
I remember seeing the config name on the drop table. Yeah.
Or as someone funny, but we put the final nail in the Rune Dragon's coffin,
Yeah.
which is bollocks. But
I mean, I agree. I do agree. They're still very profitable, but people are passionate about Rune Dragons. We accept that.
they are passionate about Rune Dragons. It's the reason why the boots didn't get nerfed for so long.
It's fair. I'd like Orion to elaborate on his tweet saying that Elite Dungeon 3 will be high-level PBM. What other boss does he think it'll be similar in difficulty to?
I mean, it's harder than the first two.
Yes. I'd say the first two bosses of the dungeon are about on par with everything else, and we've made the Ambassador much more difficult. I wouldn't say he's very, very hard, like Talos high in rage level, but yeah, he's quite difficult. I've been struggling to kill him.
But you're a scrub.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I was the guy that was using mage wearing full pernix earlier while testing, so...
You shouldn't have said that.
Well,
you've literally given yourself, like, you've now just put that perception on you, unfortunately.
Mod Orion, I don't think this achievement is possible because I don't think we can deal enough damage. I went,
Yeah.
have you Vaughn? Are you praying?
Yeah.
No. What army are you at? Pernix? Oh,
Achievement,
right.
so we can't do enough damage.
There's an achievement on the Crassian Leviathan.
There we go.
To kill him without negating a certain healing effect that he does, which means you have to do like double the damage or out DPS his healing, which means it probably takes 2 or 3 times longer. But that's what achievements are for, right? We got more achievements in this one than we did with the first 2 dungeons. So I think it was like 16 and then 17, and this one's got like 22 or something. But that's because some of the achievements involve all 3 dungeons. So.
Is Elite Dungeon 3 melee friendly? That's literally all I want to know.
Yes.
So it will be allocated to melee players?
Yeah, so we'd say the main dungeon itself, melee's the best style, especially if you've got a scythe.
All the trash, smash it.
Yep. Boss 1, melee is the best one so far.
If you figure it out.
If you figure it out.
Yeah.
Second boss, still. Third boss will be mainly for people who know their melee rotations, because players that use range or mage will probably find it a bit easier. But again, melee will smash it once you get it down.
Can we talk, I think, this is where, we mentioned in the video, I believe, about Spotlight.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that, actually? Because I haven't got it on my list, but I feel like we kind of want to dive into it a little bit. So obviously you mentioned, we have what we call the Elite Dungeon Spotlight. So what is this, in essence? What are we expecting with this?
Do you want to cover that?
Similar to the minigame Spotlight. So each day...
So it's each day instead of every...
Yeah.
Okay.
So each day, a different dungeon will be on Spotlight, going in consecutive order and then resetting. You get a...
Confirm the number.
There's 1 extra mini-boss spawns. You've got 25% more Dungeoneering XP.
Yeah.
And then there's 20% reduction on death costs, I believe it is.
See,
I enjoyed it. I enjoy it every single time in a stream we have situations like this. Everyone who's explaining these explaining these things is always very hesitant to make sure they try and get it exactly right. I enjoy it a lot. It's great.
I'm just QAing our QA. So.
No, that's awesome. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, there is a reward from going in consecutive order of dungeons, right?
Yeah, there is. It's just kind of like an extra little loot crate for your effort. It's like, oh, okay, I decided to go through the dungeons in consecutive story order. It just comes up at the bottom.
Is that reward also available if you do it in story mode only?
God, no.
Right, okay.
Rewards for story mode? What's this?
That's it. I just wanted to make sure we clear it up, to make sure we're all good. Okay, so the spotlight I think is really cool. Obviously, we have the dedicated Elite Dungeon world as well, so obviously expect people to congregate there.
We have one of those, do we?
Yeah, you made it get added when we released Elite Dungeon 1.
I believe it is, though.
Do you not remember this?
No.
Back in June, you were like, oh, we can do this. Oh, yes, we should do this. Yeah, we did in June.
Cool.
Is there maybe a question for yourself, Orion and Kelby here? Is there more hope for similar content to Elite Dungeons in the future, in essence of story being emphasized upon, maybe reason assets, or long-term PPM dungeons?
Yeah, so there isn't any further Elite Dungeons planned right now. This has been a trilogy of Elite Dungeons, and we're concluding that storyline with this update. Could potentially you pick up on some of those threads maybe at another time, but this is very much a kind of conclusion, and that's the end of that trilogy. And we will look to do further Elite Dungeons down the line. As I said, nothing planned in right now.
Cool.
But if we do, it will be new storylines, and it doesn't necessarily mean there needs to be 3 Elite Dungeons in a row. It could be just just one sort of thing, 1 or 2. I think a lot of people, or developers, myself included, have being like, oh, it'd be great to have Elite Dungeon here, and you can do that sort of thing. And for me, it's like, oh, it'd be really cool to go up and down one of those Vampirium towers.
Yes. Oh my lord.
Fighting,
Yes. That'd be awesome.
Through hordes of vampires and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I can picture some kind of areas that we're kind of going in the future, maybe the possibility of adding Elite Dungeon to that content. So I think there's we will do them, but there'll be a good period of time for us to really analyze how successful these current Elite Dungeons are, the longevity of them, and kind of what we might do with them in the future. We've seen the improvements between the current Elite Dungeons, and then further improvements for future ones.
Awesome.
Just seen a question in the chat.
So as a note, obviously, if you guys see any questions, pull that up.
Asking about the special effect of the crossbow.
As in the special attack?
Yeah, special attack.
Who said there was going to be a special attack on the crossbow?
Everyone knows there's going to be a special attack on the crossbow.
Oh,
but yeah, so yes. So special attack is called Split Soul. Yeah, not Soul Split.
Split Soul,
yeah.
Okay.
And it basically turns around your Soul Split ability, so rather than it healing you, it'll slowly damage your opponent, depending on how much damage you're doing. But it negates the healing effect while that's in play.
Does that stack with the Amulet of Souls?
Yeah,
yes.
Of course it does. Takes the final number of healing that you were going to do and sends it back at your opponent.
That's interesting.
Currently, it sends it back at your opponent for double the damage. So, for example, if your Soul Split was going to hit you for 700, it would smack the boss for 1400 instead.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
That is currently in the process of being balanced, but let us know what you think about it, because you guys, your opinion and feedback is more important than what we think a lot of the time.
So what if you have Soul Split on and you use that spec attack?
Then Soul Split instantly turns purple and starts damaging your opponent instead of being white and coming back to you and healing you.
Okay, so we'll have a new the anim. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
and
exciting.
as soon as you take off your weapon, you cancel the effect.
I'm very interested to see how the Masterwork set effect is going to work with that. Obviously it's a ranged weapon in that sense, but what I mean is you could use these combos where like self-damaging to maybe tendrils as an example. How will tendrils work where you self-damage yourself to then use it on to go from there?
It's a risk. It's kind of like Berserk from LA, right? But you've pressed your button are you going to benefit from this?
Vampirism Aura is going to have such a benefit with this, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean,
Scrim.
oh yeah, yeah,
Maybe not for
Scrims.
melee, but
yeah.
Interesting thing about
the chat has said that it's OP, so I think we'll have to nerf it. Basically.
Okay, sweet. Sorry, guys, you've decided. You've all decided to nerf it, so.
Oh boy.
Rip split soul.
So if we look at the invention perks for no, shut your mouth. No. Oh, everyone gets into it. I love it. Oh, hi Raven in the chat. Oh, we need to mod Raven, as in literally mod Jagex Raven in the chat.
You should probably confirm it's definitely him.
I'm a 1,000,000% sure it's him, but yeah, maybe message him, John, just to be sure. Demon Undead and Dragon Slayer perks, they apply in Elite Dungeon 3.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
They'll work on the cool.
Literally any creature in the game that has what we call an attack mod parameter goes through this.
Defined as the, okay, cool.
Which should be pretty much every case of demon, undead, and dragon.
Collection log.
Oh yeah, the collection log's going to be interesting. So as you guys probably saw.
Okay, I don't, interesting, go on.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a while until somebody completes the item log for this dungeon. Okay.
Okay.
When I first announced the Eldritch Crossbow, I said this will be rare. It will be rare. Like, it's an elite dungeon. Some players obviously kind of facetiously call it mid-level content, haha. Like, it's difficult, but it's not 1k Telos difficult, you know? Ambassador's pretty hardcore, but at the same time, getting to the Ambassador is still quite easy, and killing him in a group is quite easy. Getting to complete the item log, the collection log for the Ambassador is going to take someone, whoever does it, a real long time. And if someone has that title in 2 or 3 months, like
2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months. If
Are you serious?
If someone has that title in 2 or 3 months, I will, you know, the RNG gods have blessed them. The crossbow pieces, I won't give the pieces.
So it's pieces
Yeah.
to build. Wow, okay.
So
I
you
didn't,
see-
okay.
Spoilers.
You're not sure, you didn't know.
Well,
So-
no, this is the bit, like, so before you jump in, like, for me, what I try to do is, until the playtests happen, I try to not even know what's going
Which is a
on,
great way
because
to do
I
it, yeah.
need to kind of have an idea of how it can be perceived if I play it. So, yeah, I wasn't even aware of that, so, yeah. By all means.
So we showed off in the month ahead video for February, there was a sneaky little peek at a player's inventory, and that player had the 3 pieces of the crossbow, the stock, the limb, and the mechanism. They all have the same chance to drop, and they are all tradable. All 3 pieces are tradable. So we will see the first crossbow fairly soon, but we won't see a full collection log because you know you have an equal chance to get.
Yeah, they don't.
bit.
It's important to know they don't drop an order. That's what you're trying to
Exactly.
get
There are no Telos orbs. They don't do the, you know, they have no mechanism for that because they don't need to.
So you could
They are
have
tradable.
2 of the 2 pieces and none of the third, which you need for the
Completely.
log, in
Yeah.
a sense. Okay.
And, you know, sorry, but at this point, I think the pet is potentially more common than some of these crossbow pieces. Yeah.
And are you
if-
able to say what the
If
pet?
people are going to complain about Iron Man, they can suck it up, basically.
Yes, they can suck it up.
They chose to play that mode, game mode.
Yeah.
We're not making it non-tradable or drop an order for Iron Man just for the sake of it.
And honestly, to a point, and quite understandably so if you think about it, our hands are tied because there are a number of players who have tweeted me saying, 1, the Ambassador better be bloody hard. Like, I don't want it to be a pushover. Okay, cool. 2, this crossbow better be bloody rare because Elite Dungeons shouldn't be dropping tier 92. And they're right. These people are completely right. And our balancers, our designers, and the content devs and our QA all unanimously agree that this object should be rare. I mean, like, the Staff of Sliske is what at the moment? Is it 1.5 build?
The staff, the full one is 1.5, dormant is 600 mil-ish.
Yeah, there you go. You don't, you know, this is a lot of money from an Elite Dungeon, so it has to be somewhat rare.
Yeah, for the tier of item anyway in particular. Interesting. So you mentioned normally, are you able to reveal the drop rate for the boss pet? Not for the pieces, obviously.
A boss
that's
pet
fine.
same as the others, which off the top of my head, was it 1 in 300?
One is it 1 in 300, I believe?
1 in 300 in group, 1 in 300 in solo with a 60 kill threshold, which stacks, and 1 in 1,500 in group with a 300 threshold.
Oh yeah, that's the point. We should, so it's so obviously the thresholds themselves, we should make clear, have the changes from that you made for Elite Dungeon 1 and 2 as well, correct?
Correct.
As in, you can have 99 solo kills, 1 group kill. 59 solos, 1 group, and that will hit the 60 threshold, right?
Correct.
Cool. So I just had to get that clarified.
You can grind your threshold in group to get an increased chance on the solo kill drop, is basically the condensed version of that.
Cool. How long does the split soul effect last?
Was it 15 or 20 seconds?
I think it was 20.
Yeah, it's an okay amount of time. Like you can fit it in with your Death Swiddy and just go mental. Yeah.
Someone just asked, crossbow pieces are more common in solo, but solo is more difficult than being in a group for the ambassador.
By far.
So, obviously, a pretty open-ended question. Not expecting an exact answer on this, Raven. What will the judges be working on next?
No.
Mr. Kelpie.
Fine.
Okay, but we can say
That-
what it is.
I would rather not.
Fine.
All right, cool.
That's-
We're working on a project.
That's. I just wanted to get that out of the way, just to make sure that we clear that up as well.
glad I
We don't
checked.
always have to when I feel like there's an obligation to give you an answer when I ask that. You don't have to. That's the point. Like they're just questions that people have asked and they're curious about because, of course, everyone wants to have status updates on what you guys are up to because people love following that content.
Should we just not answer him for the rest of the stream?
Well, that's great because I'm going on to the general section now, so the Elite Dungeon section's done. So.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Alrighty, so we got a couple general questions that we've gathered for the stream as well. So we'll answer these by all means. If you guys want to chime in, this is open-ended for everyone. So, are you going to show us the results of the recently completed Completionist Cape rework poll?
Not at this time.
Cool.
We will do in the future. The team are basically they've got the poll results. They're informative, but not too surprising. They're now working on the best way. They're working on designs and the best way to then involve players, you guys, in the next steps. Really, they're kind of deciding whether they want to do something that then requires further polls or something that is putting together more of a blog post of what a design document for the update to get feedback on. So once they're ready, they will release results and provide more information on the project.
Yeah, and obviously, we have the Discord channels, we have the means of communicating. When the time comes and the streams go on, we'll always try and find ways to get them on to talk about how it's going. I think it's very important. Obviously, we're quite open in that process, but I think the poll is a good start to give us an idea of what I think people are expecting. You mentioned, obviously, not too surprising, so I guess that reaffirms a couple wins?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of the questions and the answers sort of thing, but from what I've been told, there's nothing super controversial that's come out of it or anything like that.
Probably one for you here, Timbo. Can players with maximum God Wars Dungeon 2 reputation have a different use for anima crystals?
Maybe. We're not just going to give it because you're getting a lot more anima crystals now thanks to the Manan's thing.
Yeah, because obviously
There needs to be a good reason.
until deep sea fishing, we didn't really have. We had them more, but there was a rare chance. And we had deep sea fishing's merchant store, now geode, so they're very common now, I'd say.
They're way more common than they were because
Yeah.
there's a new source of them. But reputation is finite, so we're not gonna. We haven't any plans for it right now, but maybe in the future we'll come up with something.
Awesome. Do we have any updates on RuneScape Mobile as it stands?
It is progressing, but we do not have an update to talk about at this time. When we do, then we'll obviously announce it. But yeah, I'm not going to give any information today, I'm afraid.
And it's safe to say when the time comes, we will obviously shout
Yeah,
about
when
it.
it's suitable, when there's something that's actually going to be something relevant for people, then that's the time when we'll communicate it.
Yeah, we don't want to keep giving you the same answer, I guess. I mean, what does that accomplish, right? So
The thing is, internally, there's loads going on.
Yes.
And we don't want to say everything yet, right?
Yeah.
It's getting there. We're doing stuff. It's
There's
cool.
a lot of mobile, a lot of other projects. It's when we have something to say, then we'll say it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not gonna go over it.
cool. When can we expect to see more NXT optimization in relation to higher resolution textures, more draw resistance, UI scaling, etc.?
There are jobs for this. And when I say jobs, I mean tasks that we have created in-house. There are things being looked at. Obviously, again, it's a massive plate spinning game of juggling prioritizations. That example, UI scaling, there is a job in the system for that to be looked at, and someone is looking at that. But again, we can't give a clear answer on that.
Yeah, I'm aware of some other stuff that they're looking into, but again, it's like, if I go say something now, then people will take that as like, yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
coming.
Exactly.
And so I'm not going to.
Yep, that's completely. I mean, I think that's a very sensible approach. Actually, I want to talk about NXT. We have a really cool NXT fix for Elite Dungeons coming out, do we not? Imri, you tweet about it.
Yeah, we do. Oh,
This
what a
is-
hero.
Yeah. Modern in.
Yeah, modern in. So one of the, and I can quickly 30-second explanation of the tech reasoning behind it.
Oh,
Essentially, what you guys were experiencing on the odd occasion, even in like Varrock, let alone in the Elite Dungeons, is things like sinking into the ground. So you might see a wall in Varrock like sinking into the ground.
wait, is
Same
it
issue.
fixed that as well?
Potentially.
Oh my lord. Okay, that's awesome. If
And
that's the case.
What was happening in Elite Dungeons is we placed a bunch of pages down for you to collect, right? 22 pages in each dungeon for the achievement and to finish the lore book. And some of these pages were becoming unpickable. You couldn't actually click on them. You could go up to them and just do nothing. But you could like area loot them if you dropped a swordfish down on the ground or something. And the reason behind that is that NXT was placing the page in the world and the Varrock wall, for example, in the world before loading the terrain on high detail. So it didn't really happen to players that were playing on low detail because the terrain loaded first. So it's like this asynchronous optimization has caused the thing to be in the underworld yet rendered and visible, which was really, really tedious when you were trying to click on the bloody thing.
This is, if it has fixed what I think it's fixed as well, I'll have to double check with Modern In. That will have fixed an issue that's been in NXT since 2016, which is the Dungeoneering walls. When you're doing Dungeoneering, some of the walls will be sunk into the ground.
Yeah.
Like, if that is fixed, then, oh man, I'm very excited for
Yeah.
that, to say the very least, so that's awesome.
Fingers crossed.
It's come up in the chat a fair bit, but have we got any more updates to share on Stone Spirits at all?
Nope.
Just as we're just to
Mining Smithing guys are always looking at the dropped stone spirits and stuff, but there's nothing more to share. Right?
yeah, we're not being essentially hyper reactive. We're letting it play out and then going from there, right? Just to clear that up. Awesome. When do you plan to pull the plug on the Java client?
We're getting closer to it.
Okay.
It will happen at some stage.
Its heartbeat is slowly slowing.
Yeah, the percentage of people who still use the Java client is getting smaller and smaller, and it's at the point now where it is pretty small. But we still just want to try and nicely move those people over to the NXT. So we're going to be taking we're looking into that, and we are going to be closing it sometime soonish. We don't have a hard date for it because, as I said, we want to kind of still kind of try and move people over it rather than just kind of cut them off and them just kind of trying to play RuneScape one day and not understand what's going on. But yes, death to Java indeed.
Yeah, I think it'll be a long time coming when we get there, so very excited for that. Just picking up a question from the chat: what is going to be happening with the Elite Dungeon 2 title on the release of Elite Dungeon 3?
I can't remember the state of it. Obviously, you'll be able to unlock your pet with the inert blackstone crystal that you've got. To sum that up, I think I potentially mentioned it on one of the social media platforms. You need an ambassador kill. You need to do something after the ambassador fight with that object, with that item that you've got from Dragonkin Laboratory.
That will work on story mode.
Yeah, and you can do that on story mode if
Okay.
yeah. It won't take you too long to do that, and then you should be able to, use the title as per. But if you've already got the drop, then you should already be eligible.
Cool. Can we get, it's a general question, I'm not sure if we can answer specifically, but can we get some new hit spark / crit override animations in the Solomon store? Because obviously I think the only one we have is the heroic splats, as it were.
Comic book, pow, splat.
Yep.
I mean, suggest them. What is Cam's mod name?
Modcam.
Modcam. There we go.
Yeah.
Modcam's a good person to direct your suggestions to for that one. I'm sure he will love to hear them.
Yeah.
Questions from the chat. Will there be bosses centered around solo in the future? So essentially solo only bosses.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay, this is good.
Of course.
Exciting. Will we be having new metal dragons because of the mining and smithing rework? I presume because they want essentially the equivalent of rune dragons to be dark animika dragons or something like that, would be my guess. So
Yeah, maybe they could drop some tier 90 boots or stuff, like, you know, that'd be cool.
No.
So,
Degrade to broken T95 bits.
Nice.
so presumably no for that one then.
There's none planned.
Yeah, none
but
planned.
there could be in the future.
Yeah.
We did answer this on stream, I think it was 2 weeks ago, but I think it's just important to clear it up. Since Hunter and wood cutting have elite outfits, so their plans to make fragmented invention pieces. We confirmed Hunter's.
So Hunter is coming later. There's no plans for woodcutting yet.
Cool. Where will Elite Dungeon 3 be located? I just realised we've gone for the entire Elite Dungeon and we didn't even
It's in
clarify.
the bloody ocean.
Yeah, but
Where did you... No,
but-
it's in Demonheim. You go to, was it the east of Demonheim?
East Demonheim. Click on the boat.
That's it.
That's situated there.
You can talk to the dude with the horn, or you can click the boat to go to the Shadow Reef. Yeah. Obviously, don't do this on a free-to-play world or something stupid. It won't work.
Yeah.
Oh, release date for Elite Dungeon. I completely forgot. We skipped over that.
February 25th.
So just after Double XP weekend.
It's a week after my birthday, which is more important.
Is it?
No.
So yeah,
I'll be celebrating my birthday by double XP games.
yeah, I'm gonna play day one for sure. I mean, Elite Dungeon 2, me and my wife played day one, and she was on the verge of going into labour. So you know, it's the way it is. We have to keep up the Elite Dungeon tradition as it is.
That's what your daughter's now. You
Oh yeah, you watched that stream, didn't you? I remember. I streamed that. Oh my goodness.
I still got that video saved of when she got the pet and you just freaked out. You were like, but what?
Well, on Elite Dungeon 1, yeah. Kill number 1 in a pet, yeah. That was
Brilliant.
good. Oh, so that's what it's about, just moments like that.
JMod luck.
Regarding the upcoming Crystal Capsules promotion on Treasure Hunter, are we concerned at all about the addition of Death Touch darts affecting the integrity of things like Telos?
Not really, because we understand people's feedback on it, but we've looked into it and we're making we're not just giving out tons of Death Touch darts to people. There is a rare reward, so we're not expecting to open the floodgates on everyone getting Death Touch darts. They are they're also obtainable in other means, sort of thing, and it's not going to be like Treasure Hunter is now like a place where you just like go daily to get your Death Touch darts. No. By no means is it going to be like that. So no. We're not.
I think that's important to mention. Like this is for that promotion only, correct? The task themselves. Yes, just to make that clear. It's not a permanent edition.
Well, yeah, for now. I'm not gonna.
For sure.
Say that this is the only time we're ever gonna do it, sort of thing. Like,
They're currently in the Black Gems, aren't they, for this promotion?
yeah. But yeah, like we're due to the rarity of them. And of course, someone on Reddit is going to post because they got ultra lucky and they got 3 darts in a row or something like that, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh my god!"
I mean,
but
sorry.
there's a huge quantity of number of players doing this. Remember, and some people will get, a few people will get super lucky or whatever. But
It's worth mentioning we're reevaluating Death Touch darts on places like Telos.
okay.
We're discussing that on Friday as a comment council.
Yeah.
They're too prevalent and they're too easy to save streaks and things like that. So we're looking at how it interacts with Telos specifically.
I think it's important to mention that if a day comes up where the Death Touch dart appears on the merchant, we'll see thousands of people buy obviously on merchant, which is obviously a massive influx of Death Touch darts from that as well. So I think that's quite important to mention from there. As well in regards to the influx of the darts themselves. So
I feel like the actual meta complaint is that we're ruining Telos streaks or the integrity of these things. But actually, when you can go to the deep sea fishing merchant and stockpile these things for a very long time and come back and do Telos 9 months later and just have loads of Death Touch darts, then I feel like we're not introducing a new issue. It's, as Timbo said, we have to sort out where Death Touch darts are actually eligible.
That also includes aura resets, Telos as well, in case you're worried about that too.
cool.
That's fair.
Some people are obviously asking about clue scrolls in the chat right now. So if you haven't seen the comms that have gone out for it already, in the slider puzzles, there's a chance where if you try and do a slider puzzle efficient, like really fast. If you're very used to doing them very quickly, the game can't keep up with it due to a bug. That is a bug that we can't hotfix, but we are looking to get in for the next game update. But if you get into that situation, you can click on the check button, and that will refresh the interface and make it display how it should as a workaround for now. So just wanted to make that clear if you haven't seen the comms for that already. Right, let's...
Yes, I meant sign refreshers, not aura refreshers.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yes, of course you can use sign refreshers in combat, can't you? So let's go into Ninja, and of course, mention of course the Game Jam projects, although Game Jam wasn't mentioned as it were in, oh hello, gift raid in there from, and I love seeing that when we just see the gifting of subs out of the blue. So awesome to see. Let's go into Chef's Assistants, obviously shown briefly in Month Ahead for February. Introducing cheesecake into the game. So I guess the question is why now is the time to do a little sequel to Cook's Assistant?
It came about through someone's personal project.
Oh, okay.
That they did. Mod Helen.
Mod Helen.
Yes.
Something that she did during her O time. So we kind of rolled that in with kind of like the possible projects that Ninja could pick up and finish off part of the Game Jam, and it's nice to kind of have a mix of stuff for different types of players. So you obviously questers is one of those things. So it was a nice thing to do, and we're also looking at the kind of quest improvements that Mod Stu had been doing, which behind the scenes improves a load of stuff for us, but he also did some more player facing stuff, some quality of life stuff there, which is to do with such as how you can like sort your quest list and such. We kind of put them together as a kind of like, hey, we've got some quest improvements and a new little quest for you.
I do want to mention actually, so I kind of mentioned this in obviously the chat system we use after the stream we did last time, but I think it's awesome how we could have just released Chef's Assistant and then gone with it, but how we're using this as a chance to bring in, of course, Stu's changes that you mentioned in regards to the quest system as a whole. So this kind of helps reinforce that update as well.
A new quest, they play off each other nicely.
And I'm sure Ninja won't mind me saying, but there's actually a Ninja fix in addition to that they've done as well, which is something players have asked for ages, which I'm very excited for to go with that update as well. So in relation to the questing.
You could.
Yeah, I think it's fine to say.
Yeah.
It's just where you can click. You can now actually click the back button to go back to the quest you're reviewing last. So from Stu's changes, you can go on a certain quest, but when you were last looking at a quest, let's say Dimension Disaster, and then you click on to Endgame, when you click the back arrow, it'll take you back to Dimension Disaster. So, it's something that a lot of people have asked for quite a while, actually, so it's pretty awesome. So the tandem of Ninja's project, bringing in Mod Helen's project, plus Stu, and Stu's project when he's in Ninja as well, so it's all coming together nicely, and I just love, personally, how we're doing these updates where we're kind of bringing in thematic stuff to go with it, and I think it's really working well.
Yeah, through February and into March as well, there is a number of updates where we've kind of taken smaller things that people have done and kind of grouped them up to be a bit more of a focus. And you'll see we've got a couple of those in February, and there's a number of weeks in March the same.
In regards to the items that come with Chef's Assistant, we kind of alluded to it in the month ahead, Timbo, but what are we looking to exactly see with these items that come out? What effects are we looking at here?
Cheesecake.
So what effects does the almighty cheesecake give us?
Enough said.
Yeah, they're just mid-level food that also restores prayer and some other stuff as well.
So instead of...
It's not crazy strong. They're quite low heal, like not as good as prayer potions and prayer renewals and stuff, but they should be quite...
So on the mid-level grind on the way up, I guess that'll be very nice.
Yeah. It's a fairly novice quest, so...
Awesome. I ask this question every time, but I think it's important to emphasize it. So in regards to the Game Jam projects, how are we doing with these? Are we still rocking along? Is it
Farm Hands came out?
Yeah, Farm Hands obviously released, and awesome to see that go out. But how are we on course for the rest?
Yeah. As I said, there's some more coming in March. So look out for those ones really. We've got a whole host of them really.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
obviously
spread
we'll,
throughout
we'll go into a bit more detail with the month ahead stream.
Yeah,
for
when we get the March
obviously.
BTS and the resulting live stream.
A bit of general question here, but it's plopped into the ninja section, so I assume this is added from someone upstairs. Are there any plans to increase the value of seeds? Many high-level seeds are only 1 GP each.
No. Yes.
Timbo's weekly question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a constant battle.
Yes, but it's not easy. You'll notice that people complaining about Stone Spirit is that changing drop tables is not easy. So yeah, in the future, sure, but it's not an easy thing.
Oh, drop table. Speaking of which, Elite Dungeon 3 presumably has unique common drops, uncommon and rare as well in regards to, I can't remember what they're called in Elite Dungeon 1 and 2, but you know the ones on about.
Yeah.
Relic of Ammunition, stuff like that, those items.
We have the common, uncommon, and rare relics.
Yes.
As per the disassemblable / alchable things that may have some use in the future. So I'd recommend holding on to one of each of those at some point.
Okay.
But yeah, a very ominous thing to say, I know. They also drops, it's another source of onyx dust, blackstone arrow tips and such, and a new item which is a reagent for the sigil called Blackstone Heart, and that's dropped from the creatures when you have the lucky charm. It's also dropped in moderation from the bosses. Yeah.
Awesome. So, as it were, I've kind of covered everything I've wanted to cover, but everyone in the chat, if you want to keep asking questions, do that. I want to talk about Double XP really quickly. So, obviously, Double XP is coming out this month, February the 22nd up to February the 25th. So, it comes down to it. Timbo, are we aware of any specific changes to mining and smithing for Double XP, or is it just same as usual?
Same as usual.
Awesome. Just wanted to clear that out of the way, and I guess, have you guys got Double XP plans for this?
Yes. Last time I said about Double XP, it's been a while since I've been on stream, I think. We've been working too much on Elite Dungeon 3. I wanted to do summoning, but even since then I still haven't got the charms I need for it because I'm a noob. So it's probably going to be kind of...
You've got Chapman info, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Good.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
But with this, and what I normally do is throughout my workday, I'll do like the odd double abyssal demon task or something like that, and I'll collect some charms and whatnot. But we've been too busy that I can't even spend some of my attention on my third monitor, like keeping myself alive. I died a couple of times to Abbey demons, so what's the point? So it'll be AFK skills for me, probably. I don't have any 120s apart from the obvious like Invention and whatnot. So I am maxed, but it's what skill pets can I go for next is probably my goal.
Fair.
I still owe my brother 400 mil from the last Double XP weekend because I got 120 summoning.
Oh, so you used his supplies, presumably?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he went and staked all his money and lost it.
Oh, jeez.
Like, have you got my money back yet? I'm like, no, not really.
Okay.
So I'll probably just be doing some gathering skills.
He's only sending the boys round. Watch yourself.
Timbo, Kelpie?
Well, the irony is I'm probably playing my Iron Man, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh,
Respect.
Oh, fair. That's all.
After what I said earlier on, it's fine. But yeah, I'll probably just try and get 120 Slayer as well at the same time. I'm like 116 or something.
I mean, for what it's worth, I'm hoping to get 120 Slayer and DG done. Like,
Me too.
We're essentially, they're the only blockers for comp for me and my wife. Like, we're essentially the same levels, like same recs and everything else, but we need to use Double XP and try and get there as fast as we can. Like, with Dungeoneering, we're smashing it at the moment, but obviously for me, Slayer I cannot do repeatedly for too long. I can only do it in bursts and go from there.
3.5 hours for me is enough. But Dungeoneering is not my favorite thing. Like, if I can get 2 or 3 people together, then maybe I'll smash it for Double XP weekend and get it out the way, per se. But yeah, so I like Slayer, so I don't mind that. I don't need to spend Double XP or anything like that on Slayer.
So I grinded out Slayer over the weekend to get the Ushabti, to get my Master Quest cape.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you got that done recently, didn't you?
Yeah.
The MQC.
No. How long did that take you overall?
From going for it, I couldn't tell you. I was in a race with Mod Dawn and Mod Breezy, and we were working overtime on Elite Dungeons, so I wasn't getting to do it. So I just thought, all right, on the weekend, I'm just going to smash it.
I have 16 of those or something. Like, I'm not a Pokemon monster. Yeah. Damn.
I think for me, like, at the stage of like you moving from 99s to 120s, So it's like, what do I want to pick? And I guess considering, I think mining was my first 99, so maybe it should be my first 120.
It's a solid skill to go on, to be fair.
I need to do the Masterwork armor.
Oh,
So I need to.
Me too.
So I might as well kind of work towards that at the same time.
yeah, it's really exciting for that. As a note, regarding Twitch Prime, at the start of the stream I said, try and keep an eye out for Twitch Prime offer going live. We're going to be wrapping up very shortly. I just want to mention that we're still not live. I just want to preface this by saying that we will, trust me, announce it when we go live, because we're not going to exactly go quiet on it. But yeah, as it stands, it's not live just yet. So I assume it'll be going live soonish. I mean, that's safe to say. But yeah, we are going to have people here throughout the night to make sure that the launch itself goes well and make sure everything goes all okay. So if you haven't got Twitch Prime already, ready to claim your RuneScape rewards, then, well, get it so you can get ready to claim them. And then, as a note, actually, we do love it when people subscribe to this channel, but I think I do want to emphasize that, we have our content creators out there who stream RuneScape every day on the Twitch directory for RuneScape and so on. Why not use a Twitch Prime subscription on them? Because it'll help them a lot, I imagine. I can imagine if I was streaming, I'd get a sub. It'd be pretty awesome. So, if you want to throw the sub on them, then do it. And now everyone's subscribing on here with Twitch Prime. Other way around, people. Subscribe to content creators. But no, seriously, I think it's awesome.
There's someone asked me, is there plans to introduce the Major Aura? Not yet.
Cool.
We keep thinking about it. There it is again.
It's a buzzword.
But yeah, we haven't sorted out yet.
Cool. What's going to happen to Mobilize an Army area? I mean,
There's
just
no plans at this stage, but there's a nice open space that someone can use
In future, yeah.
in the future.
There was a question about, well, in fact, there's 2 Elite Dungeon questions. I'll quickly cover those. Yeah, just like all of the other bosses, the crossbow parts can be doubled. So good luck. I saw someone got a double.
You can double the crossbow part.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Keep one for yourself.
See, I wouldn't
one
be
for someone
so.
else.
I wouldn't put it past you guys not to allow that though, to kind of preserve the rarity.
But it's been taken into account. We'd rather keep it consistent.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The so the tier 92 armor. Okay, so it's not where we want it right now. It's pretty nice, but it's too expensive, way too expensive. Or you've got 2 levers to pull here. Like, do we make it better? No, not really. But we should make it cheaper to repair. Currently, it doesn't follow suit. We're looking at trimmed masterwork and stuff like that. And while it's potentially more time consuming to get and whatnot, then we have to look at all these things and balance it out accordingly. I am wanting, as a separate fix, to ensure that they are cheaper to repair by quite a large margin. And we have a bullet point on our combat council meeting that we have kind of monthly to look at adding a small buff. And it won't be something game breaking like 5% crit or something ridiculous, but it will be something marginal. I have no plans to implement that in the immediate near future, but it is something on my radar to do kind of ASAP along with Astalan tweaking. We found out that a hotfix that we made to Astalan made it worse in a different way, like 3 months ago.
Oh, yep, I remember.
And I didn't realize how bad it was until I looked at it the other day and you brought it up.
Yeah, I played it at lunchtime.
So we want to get that fixed as soon as possible. Someone in the chat's just gone 5% crit confirmed pog. Should we just come on these streams with duct tape on our mouths and just not just nod?
Can we? No, we just need an image at the bottom where it just says everything said. Like,
Disclaimer.
Views are not representative of chat. Or maybe we just toggle it to indicate when we're actually being serious versus when we're not being serious. But anyway.
One question I saw.
Yeah, by all means.
Have you recorded any ambassador lines in the Dragonkin language?
Yeah, and no, I'm not going to do a live rendition of it. It has some post-processing and stuff on it, and also I'm nervous. Yes, there's...
Which way? I thought that was your actual voice post-processing, please.
Yeah, all right. When the demons are released. No, they're squeaky. They don't sound like the ambassador. The ambassador says some Dragonkin. Taraket, the necromancer, who is, you can wiki him. He's an existing character. Surprise. He says some Dragonkin, and those of you who love your lore and kind of like finding out the little nitty-gritty parts will probably learn some new Dragonkin words, which will therefore enhance the story that we've already told you, i.e. Pieces of Hate, Mural, and other things that you've learned from like Robert the Strong and Mr. Mordo and stuff like that. So yeah, there's some little Dragonkin bits there. To be honest, we're really, really proud of what we've fit into Elite Dungeon 3. I'm actually in genuine trouble because I've tried to fit too many things into this project, and that's my fault. But we have come in when maybe we shouldn't have, because we, for example,
a lot of late
fit
nights.
more things in. Yeah, Jagex is a very anti-crunch company, and we've come in and ordered pizza and we've just fit in that extra thing, or tweaked the animations, or added that extra item. You know.
So both really passionate about the projects.
Yeah, just a bit.
Before I joined Jagex, Elite Dungeon 1 was my favourite piece of content.
Yeah.
I then joined in the first week of my training. The first playtest I got invited to was Elite Dungeon 2, and now I've seen Elite Dungeon 3, like built from scratch.
Which is weird, right?
It's been a nice journey, like first 6 months.
So essentially what we're trying to say is we've added in a lot of extra stuff that we think you'll like, and we're not spoiling it because there's some nice surprises.
One question I saw from the chat, which was basically related to Dungeoneering team cards. Yes, there is an issue where they do not work currently, but yes, I can confirm there is an issue in QA at the moment. Hopefully it would be nice to release it before double XP, obviously, because team cards will obviously be very useful for people doing Dungeoneering in that sense. So fingers crossed for that one. So yeah, just a heads up on that. But apart from that, if there's anything else you guys see, if not, then we're going to wrap up.
They just pay respect to your hair, Shawnee.
Yeah. Thanks, Orion. Oh boy, alrighty. So that'll wrap it up there. And obviously, as mentioned earlier on the stream, you can keep an eye out, especially for the stream on the 19th of February. That'll be the Elite Dungeon 3 art and audio
Be so good.
showcase.
It's going to be so good. You can see the bosses. Oh my god.
Where you know, we'll have a dive into the environments and how the audio team come up with obviously the sounds. You might hear some voice acting. That's what we do with Violet as Blue. So we might hear some more Orion voice acting. We don't know.
I'm so excited for that.
John, I'm having a brain fart. Remind me, next week's stream is... my God. I should have put this down. That's my fault.
Is there a stream next week?
No,
There was some kind of Q&A.
there's always a stream. Always a stream.
Yeah.
I always want to try and stream. Sorry? John's going to double check. Yeah, I want to make sure that you guys know what the next stream is before we wrap up, before I forget. Yeah,
Is this the Q&A?
No, this is
Month ahead.
month ahead / Q&A. That's the way it tries to be. We try to have a stream every week now because we kind of slipped a little bit towards
Regular schedules.
Yeah, because I think it's really cool that we stream, and you know, I think as long as we can get what we want out of it, and as long as everyone watching enjoys them, and that's the biggest thing, really. So.
The next stream next week is actually Mod Mark and Mod Shawnee playing a game of chess.
I got it.
2 hours.
Okay, so next week's stream is a content showcase related to incense burners, fire making incense burners and fixes. So that is what has just been pasted into my. So Ninja focused on that stuff. So again, more of a focus on Ninja for sure, because those guys are smashing it. So it's very exciting for that. But that'll wrap it up. Again, as a heads up, Twitch Prime offer is not gone live yet, but when it goes live, we will shout about it. So keep your eyes peeled. And, well, I wish you the best of luck with your Umbral chest drops as well, in that sense. So, yeah, we'll wrap it up here and say, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we hope you've all enjoyed it. Take care, and have a good one.
Bye.
Like.
Aww.